Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Anonymous, and in this channel we talk about gang stalking, we talk about their tactics, we talk about their methods and how I'm dealing with them. So today I want to talk to you about, this is going to be really out there, but hear me out, about hypnotization. So this whole thing with hypnotization is true to a certain extent. It's true. You can be hypnotized, and let me tell you how. With gang stalking, you cannot really detect it because gang stalkers, what they do is that they tell you what they want you to be. For example, they wanted me to be a whore who lined up the guys to go and have sex with them. I was that for a while, but then that is the message that they keep pushing. So do you guys remember about the video about how narcissists, manipulators, gang stalkers push a perception, and even though you might not consciously accept it, the perception of you can believe that you are whatever perception they're pushing on you, even when you don't accept it, but your subconscious mind actually can. And I'm telling you how this happened. So before the gang stalking began, before the initial manipulation happened, I still like what I like in regards to sex. I, however, never had gone so wildly promiscuous until it happened. And then it became a problem, which is why I lost my apartment. And well, I accepted it as being part of what I am until last time. So I have been connecting the dots slowly. So I came to the realization, it has been a lot of years, since I have been being called a whore, a slut, continuously, anytime I'm online, by people who are also, possibly even worse than I am, or that I ever was. And it makes me wonder, when did my perception of this happen, But, it has been 7 months since I hadn't done any drugs, I hadn't hooked up with anyone, I hadn't even tried to hook up with anyone. Like 7 months, literally. So then, I was like, why do I still feel like I'm a whore? Like, why did I still feel like that? Even though I haven't been behaving like one. So then, I decided, let's use the same methods that gang stalkers use. So I decided to make a little recording with the whispers. So remember that when you're getting gang stalked, the whispers that people say, actually you hear them as thoughts. Like, you become really sensitive. Which on that I have to tell you another thing about what. So this is gonna go completely on a tangent, but I have to tell you now. So even though I know now how the voices in my head are produced, the voices still try to convince me that the gang stalkers had access to my phone. They could see what I just did on the screen of my phone. I'm lying to you. And I was like, that's a lie. Boom, and that disconnected me completely, because I was like, I know that's a lie, so I just completely got disconnected from that immediately. As soon as I heard the lie, I was like, nope, I know you're lying because I believe this and I know that it's not true, and boom, I got disconnected. Like I came back to my senses. So, anyways, so I was like, well, if I am carrying the same message that I'm a whore, that I'm a slut, of from everyone, what if I record a lot of whispers saying how amazing I am, and I repeat this in my head, in my mind, hours and hours on end, to change the perception of myself? What's gonna happen then if I do that? You are not gonna believe what happened. So, well, I made a recording saying those things, that I cannot be manipulated, that I have a stellar body, I'm incredible, I'm incredibly smart, all these good things. That gang stalkers are nothing, that they mean nothing to me. And I put it really low, and while I watch my shows. And I kept doing that, and when I was at work, the voices changed sides. The voices began helping me. I'm not lying to you. Their demeanor changed. And I even wrote down when it was happening. Look, so this is what I wrote. Something happened with the voices in my head. They switched sides. So, eres increíble, eres espectacular, eres bien chingón. They began saying. So those are the things that I was saying in my head. So you're spectacular, you're incredible, you're a badass. And I was repeating that in my head. So then the voices began singing that with me. And then the voices themselves, the shit cunt, the voice, she, like, I forgot what I was. She told me that. She told me this. Something is happening. The perception that you have of yourself, it's changing. Suddenly, the voices changed sides. They began helping me. I began to wonder, did my recording work? Did the voices told me it did. They wanted me to stop using drugs, and I will. I decided to use the last I had left, and that was it. There were two voices against me left. The voice that I used to name shit cunt told me not to call her shit cunt anymore. She asked me to call her cariño. Then customers began to come into the store. They were whispering faggot, puto, whore, and suddenly they had lost their effect. They had zero impact. I still felt the pressure in my heart every time I heard an insult, because that's what the heart does. It detects hate. The voices told me that the heart detects hate. How insane is that, guys? The voices told me that the heart detects hate. I don't know how crazy that is, but I wasn't sure if that was true or not, if that was a delusion or not, but it makes sense. It makes sense. And I'm still unsure if it does that, but that's what the voices were telling me then. Now, My ears stopped prioritizing the gang stalker sounds and actions. They didn't matter anymore. The perception of myself changed completely. The voices in my head were not insulting me anymore. They were cheering me on. My head was silent when I needed it to be silent. The voices that spoke negatively to me were the ones that were whispered. So the only negative words that were being told to me were the ones that were left lingering, the ones that were left echoing that gang stalkers were telling me when they record. Oh, he's crazy, blah blah. Those recordings stayed in my head and they popped up when they had to pop up, because all this psychological manipulation is a mechanical manipulation of the mind. And now I understand it. So the mechanics kept working like how they were supposed to. That means that my brain is functioning how it's supposed to be functioning, which is good. Even as unpleasant as it could possibly be, it is a good sign, because that means that my brain is working how it was supposed to. Listen. The change in perception of my own self truly changed. Now the voices cannot say anything negative of you without your permission. I can control the whispers. The voices began to tell me that they were manipulated into turning against me. And they told me that the perception of myself changed when I accepted the line of crystal meth from my ex. They told me that I felt inferior to him, that I put myself second, and when he left, I didn't have anyone to look up to. I was out there looking for someone to look up to. The voices told me that you should never put anyone before you in your own mind. The voices told me that this had to happen to me in order for me to put myself first. It was my destiny for this to happen. This was part of my destiny. That's why I was born. To make this YouTube channel and spread the truth about gang stalking. That's why I had to have this psychological endurance. All of a sudden, and well, yeah. After that, well, I just kept making like notes. So I don't know. That might be a delusion in itself. But so far it is the only story that is making sense. Because you guys agree with me that my perspective in gang stalking is completely different from direct energy weapons, but even though gang stalking in itself seems something that is incredibly implausible, right? Especially when you put into consideration the whole thing with direct energy weapons, But there is no way of... But you have to admit that the story that I'm telling you guys about the actual mechanical manipulation of the mind is significantly more plausible than the technology-based gang stalking. And the thing is that this method of the manipulating the mind of people can actually be replicated. It can be tested. And it can be proven. Which the perspective of gang stalking, where technology is involved, cannot be proven. But this one can. So, well, that is what happened. So the voices in my head literally began helping me. And then they told me that, do you remember that I told you guys that it is pretty much the perception of you that drives it, right? That drives what the voices say. So that is why gang stalkers have to take away at your perception. They have to take away at the positive perception that you have of yourself, because if you have a good perception of yourself and you start hearing voices, the voices are going to be encouraging. They're going to be positive. They're going to be helpful. And the thing is that you really do not know what type of perception you have of yourself until this happens. So, and the fact that my last encounter to sensitization, to gang stalking, I managed to stay quiet the entire time, to not appear like I'm crazy, to not react to anything, as hard as I was pushed, actually helped my self-perception to be turned around to a positive one. It made me feel like such a badass that I myself defeated this thing, that I didn't allow it to destroy me. I didn't allow it to push me around, that I stood up to it, and that I never talked about it when it was happening, and it didn't manage to drive me crazy. The whole time that it was happening, the only time I spoke about it was when I was making these videos. But the rest of the time, I was watching YouTube. I was analyzing it, its mechanics, its inner workings. I was observing, which is why I'm able to have such a good insight of what was actually happening in my head through it. I have so much to talk to you guys about. And because a lot of it was in my head, it is nearly impossible to actually pinpoint exactly what it is, because it's always a combination of both. I can tell you, however, how the gang stalking becomes more real, how the voices become more interactive. I can tell you how they do that. I know how they make the voices so real. Then that's what we're gonna go over on our next video. But what I'm gonna tell you is that gang stalking is designed to get you from all angles. It's designed to make you appear as crazy as possible and have you pretty much destroy your self-perception, to destroy everything about you, socially, psychologically, financially. It's that. And this is the only thing I have to do, this YouTube channel. I don't think I'm gonna get rich from it. In fact, I have no idea what I'm gonna do other than this. But what I do know is that now the truth is out. And that is what I want. I'm still gonna keep sharing my story, English, Spanish. My goal is to actually make about 8 videos a day. Like, I wanna make this my full-time job. I know it can be done, but right now I'm a little bit low on I don't know. I'm not losing faith in my project, but I just don't feel like how I usually feel about my projects, because I didn't think my life was gonna turn out this way. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.